Hey everyone, it is Drummond and I'm back for another YouTube video. If you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you know whenever I'm posting my next video. So in today's video, I want to talk about some common misconceptions that exist in the world today around people who work hard in whatever field or profession they are in. And when it comes to people who kind of observe from the outside and don't really understand the amount of work that goes in the backgrounds that you don't really get to see, because the final project really isn't about the process that we've gone through to create the final product. So I want to kind of take some time to kind of create a video to kind of share some of that. So let's jump into it. And we're back. So for you all, that was a super quick transition from me in my bathroom to where I am now. But for me, that was about an hour and a half process for me to clean up my room so it's presentable for a video, as well as take a shower and kind of go through the process of just kind of getting ready and prepared for a YouTube video to be recorded. And I feel like a lot of people don't realize that that's kind of how everyone goes about their day. So when it comes to people in public that are presenting, when it comes to doctors that are performing surgeries, when it comes to lawyers who are working on cases, there is so much background work that we never see as clients or as viewers or as partners in life, honestly, because I feel like a lot of people kind of just see the finished product and assume that things are a lot more shallow than they really are. So when it comes to someone who puts themselves together, even when it comes to like working in a retail location, like you don't understand that some people have to wake up hours before their shift. Maybe some people are taking care of their family. Maybe they're dropping something off before work, but there's a lot of things that go on in the background. And I honestly feel like when it comes to content creating, a lot of people kind of view this as an easy profession, and they don't realize how much work goes into the process of making anything. Like even when it comes to those TikTok videos, when you see like the split-second changes of outfits, I don't think you realize that that is like a day-long process for people, because I mean, most of them are changing everything about their outfits. Some people are even doing like hair changes. Some people are even doing like background changes when it comes to like showing up in different places. And stuff like that takes hours and hours to create when it comes to just maybe a 30 to 60 second clip. And even my YouTube videos that are just a couple minutes long still take quite a bit of preparing for, as well as when it comes to the editing process. That's a whole nother story on its own. But I think that too often we don't give credit where credit is due. Like people say they wish that they could do a job as simple as creating content for the internet, like a lot of content creators do, but I don't think they realize that honestly, the jobs that you all might have might be better paying than what we get when it comes to the content that we're creating, because we spend hours and hours and hours, and a lot of our videos don't make that much money, especially in the beginning. So I think that it's really important for people to realize when it comes to content creating, the people who are consistent and make it in this like field of work, they are extremely dedicated people to their content. And I really think that you need to realize that, because when it comes to people being overcritical about content creators' work, or when it comes to people who just reach out to content creators and want us to help them with different projects. I know that when I worked for my corporate company, a lot of times they just kind of reached out to me because they knew that I do video editing for my content. And they're like, hey, we've got all these files here. We would love for you to edit them and push them together and make something spectacular out of them. And to be honest, they don't realize that even when it comes to recording a YouTube video or putting a video together, that there is so much planning beforehand about, okay, is the lighting good? Is the angle good? What is the final product that I'm trying to create? And then I start filming. And especially when you're collaborating with people, because now that I'm an entrepreneur, one of the things that I'm realizing is that I'm having to collaborate and work with so many different people to get a single task done. And a lot of times it falls onto my plate to get something completed. And if there's a missing piece that maybe someone else who doesn't have as much passion behind the work that you're doing, that piece is really important, and nothing can be completed until that piece is kind of added to the puzzle. And I would also like to kind of point out that even when it comes to like OnlyFans and content that people create for those types of platforms, it's not just about putting out the content. It's about putting out good content that people would actually want to watch and pay for. And too often people say, oh, well, it's because this person's attractive that they're so successful. I'll tell you right now that an attractive person can upload a video that's poor lighting, really bad audio, and people aren't going to watch it just because this person's attractive, because eventually they will realize that there are other people out there that are also attractive that actually put work into the content that they're creating. They put money into the content that they're creating. And it's actually those people that are going to end up being successful because they've actually put time and effort into the content that they're creating. So when you see people kind of posting about, hey, I'm top 1% of content creators on this platform, or hey, I just hit 10,000 in this and I've got 37,000 in this, like, that is years and years of work, or months and months of work, depending on how quickly they grew. But also, when it comes to creating your content, you also have to do marketing for yourself. And sometimes that means collaborating with other people and reaching out to other people. And so often I have people kind of reach out to me and want to collaborate with me, but they have nothing to show for wanting to work with me. Maybe I'm the first video they want to put on their platform. Maybe I'm the first podcast that they want to put on their platform. And it almost feels like those people are just looking for a quick way to gain a large following, because they think that if they collaborate with larger people, that they will automatically gain that audience, which isn't true, because over time, you kind of build your audience and you create that loyal following, and it's not easy work. It is so hard. And I mean, my platforms have grown, but when you look at the amount of hours that I've put into get where I am today, and then you like divide how much I've made with that content, then I'm probably working for pennies on the hour. And that's just something that I wanted to point out, because next time you talk to a content creator, or honestly anyone in any type of profession that you see succeeding and doing well, be aware that when you make little comments where you talk about how easy their job is, or how little they have to do to gain success, a lot of times that's a very insulting comment, because you're overlooking everything that they've worked so hard on. And when it comes to my positive talks, yeah, they're an hour a day, but that hour a day is tied to the hours and hours that I spend communicating with people. And when it comes to the comments and stuff on my platforms, I'm getting usually right around like 200 new messages a day. I've got thousands of messages I haven't responded to yet, because I try to, on a very daily basis, go through my messages and respond to everyone. But then you kind of get people who think that it's all about them, and it quickly flips from being someone who loves and supports you as a content creator to someone who's angry at you because you haven't responded to every single message they send. So I really want to just use this video to kind of put into context how many people actually are sending content creators messages. And when it comes to the messages that we're reading, a lot of them are just like, hey, and we really don't have a lot of time to kind of just spark up a conversation with someone who is just like, hey. Like, if you want to kind of send a little bit more of a message to kind of give us some context of what you're interested in talking to us about, or if you're interested in working with us on a project, because even when it comes to working with brands, like sometimes brands are just like, hey, we're gonna send you something, we'd love for you to produce content. Then you produce it and they're like, I don't really like it, we'd love for you to shoot it over. And they still don't give any context of what they're looking for. And I don't think they really realize that when it comes to creating content, sometimes it's hours of preparation, hours of recording, hours of editing for someone to kind of just say, that's not what we're looking for. But they don't feel like they need to take the time to like educate us on what they're looking for. And honestly, when it comes to brands reaching out to us, like it would be kind of nice for them to be like, hey, I've seen content that you've made similar to this. We would love for you to take our product and create something similar. Whereas I've had people reach out to me and send me stuff and they're like, we want this type of video. And they send me another content creator's content. And I'm like, I, one, am not an expert at creating that type of stuff. So I would have to do hours of kind of teaching myself how to do that type of editing. And then sometimes it requires like multiple people to hold the camera and do all of that work. So it can be really time constraining. And then like for me personally, today I'm not feeling great. Like I helped my friend Meg move out of her apartment yesterday for 10 hours. And there was a lot of cat hair, a lot of dust, dander, and honestly, that was a lot to be going in my lungs and everything. So I woke up this morning with a sore throat, still coughing a little bit, very clogged nose, had very puffy eyes, and I knew that I had the commitment of doing a video a day in August, so I continue to put together this video as well as multiple other videos because I have other things that I have to do during the day to kind of keep everything else that I've got going on rolling while this month continues. And it's so important for people to realize that when you're working with content creators, there's a lot of work that goes behind it. When you're working with other professionals, realize that maybe you're not the only person that they're working with on a project. So when you kind of just change things or when you get angry that things aren't going at the speed you need them to go, be aware that maybe there's something else that's impacting how quickly something's getting done or how quickly someone's getting back to you, and don't just assume that this person is lazy or they're not doing their job correctly. But I honestly don't want you watching this video assuming that I'm complaining about the work that I do, because honestly, I am super passionate about everything that I'm working on, and honestly, that's the only thing that kind of keeps me going when I feel sick, when I've got multiple projects that are all falling onto same deadlines that I have to get done all at the same time. But I wanted to kind of put a video together to kind of explain how much work goes into creating maybe something that comes off very simple or very short to you all. It's not always so short and simple in the back end where we are kind of working on and creating the progress to get to the final product. So for those of you that follow me on all my different social media platforms and see me constantly uploading on all of them all the time, you might understand a little bit better now how much work goes into keeping all those social platforms rolling, because honestly, when it comes to all this hard work, it's all about staying within the algorithms of those social platforms to continue getting paid. Because when you turn that into your sole income, it's really important for you to continue to stay in those algorithms. And one more piece of the puzzle that I would like to throw out there for you all to kind of digest and think about is the fact that content creators don't get to control how the social media platforms algorithms work. So when it comes to posting videos and content online, we also have to stay up to date on how the algorithms work and what types of things we can do to kind of help our platforms grow based upon the new algorithms that are created on pretty much a daily basis on all of the social media platforms. So with all of that in the mix, as well as everything else that I talked about on today's video, I hope that you all can really appreciate all the content that content creators are putting out there for your enjoyment or for your education purposes, because a lot of times I always tell my friends that I'm so blessed to be surrounded by other content creators that are so kind and willing to share tidbits of information with me that they've learned over the years that maybe I didn't have. Because honestly, the amount of information that content creators put out there for the world to digest, like that could be some serious information that people would need to pay for to get if there weren't content creators out there giving it away for free. So next time you go onto YouTube or other social platforms to kind of figure out how to do something that maybe you didn't know how to do, remember that person probably put a lot of work into it. So leave some comments below their videos and thank them for creating content that you can use for free. As always, love hearing from you all. So if there's any comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And if you haven't already, follow me on all my other social medias, because like I said, I've got a lot of balls rolling and I am doing my best to keep them all going. And I love that you all are here to support me through it. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.